Okay, we're recording. Mr. Ryan Johnson, how are you, buddy?
Good in yourself.
What's happening, man? It's probably been, I would say, close to 10 years since I last saw you.
Yeah, in person, definitely. Yeah, back in the Cape Town days.
Absolutely, man. It's been a very long time. I can imagine a lot has happened since then. So I thought I'd just take the opportunity to ask you about yourself and just give us a little brief history about the man, the legend, Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, well, fitness has always been in my game. I've always tried to be a fit person. Started at a young age doing motocross. So at 8 years old, I was already involved in sport competitively. Through school, I played, competitive rugby, first team rugby from grade 11. And then after school, I kind of went into a different scene where I went into fitness modeling. And I went into modeling, went overseas, did a bit of modeling. And after the modeling, as fitness was my passion, I became a personal trainer, as you know. Yeah. Got very involved with that. And after that, I went into triathlon. And that's really where I found myself and the sport that I truly actually loved, which is endurance training. Yeah.
Brilliant, man. And what part of it did you enjoy and gave you that kind of motivation to get up early in the morning and go and spend an immense amount of time on your bicycle, or whether it be running or hours on end in the pool? Where did that motivation come from, man? It's quite a unique sport in the sense of, I think that's why a lot of older people get into it, because either they have the time, and a lot of guys potentially run their own businesses. So where did you find the time and the motivation to get into that, man?
Yeah, well, starting was a really good question, because I was actually thinking about that this morning. I was really fortunate enough to co-own my own business with my father at the time, which was a business actually in the industry. So I had a lot of time. I actually had probably more time than most of the pros have to train. So that's I owe a lot of my success to that, which is time. Motivation was I've always loved to hurt. So that's why I train, to go into those dark spaces, to learn about yourself. I think you learn a lot about yourself when you go into those spaces in your mind, and that's what I love. I'm actually a little bit obsessed about it, and that's pretty much why I push myself so hard to do things like that.
Absolutely. I've always kind of also done a fair amount of sport through my days, and kind of chose CrossFit as a sport to kind of get into and excel to a certain level. But I think the training was a lot short duration. And I could never really understand what you guys are kind of thinking about spending kind of 4 or 5 hours on the bicycle, probably multiple times through the week. And I do notice a lot of you guys don't even listen to music, and it must be quite something, man, to get into your head and just kind of get into that flow state. I think you guys have definitely perfected that kind of what we call the flow state. That's a little about
a lot of guys.
You did.
Sorry, man. A lot of guys actually make this mistake of training with music, because during the race, the average athlete is out there on the run for about 5 hours, and you've got no music. You're out there on your own, and if you're used to training with music, that's easy. You train with music, takes your mind off. You don't really have to think about the hurt.
Yeah.
But when you get into the race, and that's how you've been training, you're going to be in trouble. But if you train, and I was really religious about not training with music. Number one, for a safety point of view, because you can't hear any of the cars or traffic or anything like that. But it teaches you. The race is easy in itself. The training and the mental training comes from you out there training as if you were going to race, or if you are in the race.
Is it because you're not allowed to? Are you not allowed to race with music, or?
Yeah, Ironman rules. You're not allowed to race with Ironman, the brand. You're not allowed to race
from a safety point of view.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many varieties as to why you can't. I mean, it ups your heart rate substantially when you listen to music. So that's not good for you either. But Challenge, the brand Challenge, which is kind of like a Ironman competitor, or the competition to Ironman, they allow you to actually race with music, which is interesting. I don't know why they do that.
And do you find that the guys, because it is a unique sport in that sense, like, do you find that the guys, I think even actually in any sport, with regards to kind of people training in the gym, I just think of kind of like coming back to CrossFit again, hitting big PBs in the gym, putting on your favorite track and getting a massive hype up. And often through training, you're going to need to push yourself a little bit further just to kind of, cause that adaptation and for you to grow literally and figuratively. But now you get to competition, right? And it's all those extrinsic factors. I mean, music is a massive one. And now potentially not your favorite songs playing and you got to go for a massive lift or, what it might be. So it's interesting, man. Do you find the guys... Yeah, you can't actually concentrate. You make a good point. I've just actually recently spoken to one of my friends who runs a lot of ultra, 100K runs and stuff. And she, even when she's training, she only saves the music like when she's really, really struggling. And she says that, she advised me if I ever do anything endurance orientated to like, don't listen to music, only right at the end if you really, really need it, because it does lift you up. But if you listen to it from the beginning already, and then you've got nothing to kind of rely on right till the end. So interesting. And then from the Ironman days, did you drop your kind of training and all that life behind you, or what?
I mean, it all happened kind of at once. Where the rand to dollar went to and we kind of said cheers to our business, and then I kind of had to go looking for a job outside of working for my folks or working for myself. And then you just don't have the time, and I'm the kind of person that if I can't do something properly, I'm not going to do it at all. It's sad but true. 2016 I decided to sell the expensive bikes and start trying to live, create some sort of career for myself outside of sport.
Absolutely.
And that was a tough decision because I was trying to go pro in 2015. And then at the end of 2015, the kind of brick wall hit me, and good life lesson there.
So that's almost 5 years ago, right?
5 years ago.
And you kind of obviously came out of that. And I think, these things that happen in life, and with regards to ingraining and giving everything right to something, you eat, breathe and live it. And then often it becomes your identity, right? And it's difficult to kind of, does take a couple of months, I think, for most athletes. And some athletes don't recover from it because it's become so mental and just becomes so ingrained in you. When you're walking around wherever you are Orion, Johnston, the Ironman, or whatever it might be. And it's potentially because you also surround yourself with all those people for so long, and that has become your life, right? So coming off that, and then what happened kind of in the last 5 years? Have you been training, or what have you been up to, man?
So I've always, I've kept my sort of fitness up, but it is nothing compared to what it used to do. And, I've gone through just recently, which we'll get into a little bit later. It's, I went through a dark place, man. And it was just, you just don't have any ambition to train or any sort of, will to get up anymore and do it. And that came from giving it everything and just getting nothing in return. When you give something so much and then to get sort of slapped in the face by it at the end of 2015, I was kind of just like, stuff this. And you kind of just go into this, a complete opposite routine of what you used to. And, you know, you do the things that you swore you would never do. Like, you know, you start, I used to have like a bottle of wine, 2 bottles of wine every night. And I mean, you know, eventually you look at yourself and you don't even recognize yourself in the mirror. And
so it can become quite self-destructive in that sense, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
your discipline towards the sport that you had kind of just turns against you.
Quite psychological, I think, because I think when you've ingrained yourself and thrown, as I said a little bit earlier, thrown everything into it, it kind of like, it smooths everything out right a lot, and it doesn't allow you to actually reflect, you know, onto yourself, and kind of you hide behind that kind of person, potentially, you know, these professional athletes and guys that are just giving everything into it. And then, so for business wise, and what have you done in the last 5 years? Kind of what went down?
Yeah, so I jumped from here to there, did a lot of different things. But then I got stuck into digital marketing, which I really enjoy. It's something that comes naturally to me. So for the past like 2 to 3 years, I've been doing a lot of that. I started working for a company that was actually my competitor when I owned performance bikes and large distributors. Got back into the sporting industry, you know, kind of got my vibe back, and fell in love with, you know, training and being fit again.
Okay. And so you have been training, so you going to be following some kind of training regime for the last kind of 5 years, or?
No, not at all. It's only recently that I've got back on the saddle, and, you know, I've kind of found my motivation again.
Absolutely. And it does seem like lockdown has been good for you.
Yeah, I know. It's been excellent. I've got lots of time again.
And it's a kind of thing, something that's, you know, piqued my interest coming into this chat. And then, you know, we've been mates for a long time, and I even remember kind of training you close to probably 10, 12 years ago.
You made vomit a few times in the change room.
Or young, dumb, and full of something. It's so I have noticed that you kind of got back onto, you know, your and I think it's not just like physical, right? It's like first something has to happen in the mind, right, to take place, and opportunities present themselves. You know, a lot of people, I think the whole world went into lockdown, and some people kind of grasped the opportunity to like look at themselves dark and deep, and really, you know, make a change in what they, or take the opportunity to make a change in their life with regards to their health and fitness. And you know, how their work, that age-old saying of kind of healthy body, healthy mind does kind of come to the surface, you know, when you start training and get into a regime. Take us a little bit through that, man. How many weeks have you now been going at it?
I think it's just short of 3 months now. When I started, it was, you know, I went through it again, a hell of a time. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Something really personal happened to me, and I got retrenched at the same time, which sucked. So it was kind of, you know, I hit rock bottom, absolutely hit rock bottom 3 months ago. And I kind of just said to myself, I looked at myself in the mirror, I was like, dude, you weigh 92, 93 kgs. You've got absolutely no physique left. You've been retrenched, you know. And then I said to myself, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, what now? You know, what the hell? And everyone's, you know, saying, get back into training. Think about yourself, focus on yourself. And it's super hard to do when you're in that mental state. But one day I just said, you know, screw it. And I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I got myself ready like I used to. And thankfully thankfully over the years, I've been kind of like gathering equipment, gym equipment, over the years, and just kind of, you know, took it one day at a time. I mean, I remember the first session, I couldn't even do 5 push-ups. Like, really,
so you were quite deconditioned
Yeah, it was crazy.
What is your kind of fighting weight? Just to give people perspective.
My fighting weight is probably about 85, which is so when I started this and I got really serious, which was about 2 months ago, I thought to myself, you know what, just lose the weight firstly. Just get it all off. When you've got it all off, which is where I'm kind of now, and then you concentrate on what you want out of what you've got.
Yes.
But right now, I weigh from 92, I weigh now 79. So in 2 months, I've really focused, but that is not, and people will probably...
You've lost 13 kilos.
Yeah. And that's all on a tennis court, buddy.
Man, that's massively impressive, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. You're good.
Just hold on a second. I think that's good. Yeah. Okay. So you lost 13 kilos in the space.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's about 12, so about a kilo a week. I mean, to be fair, that's good going. And I think, as you say, like you needed to lose the weight before you kind of decided what you wanted to do, right? Where I think a lot of people have these massive aspirations of, seeing things on social media, or people don't look at magazines anymore, so I'm not going to speak about magazines. And they forget about the fact that you first need to be healthy, right? Before you start heading in the performance direction. And for yourself, obviously coming off at that body weight compared to what you normally at, or when you're feeling healthy and good to go, like your objective was first to get healthy, right? Whether it be mental and physical, and then slowly, you start building on that. So that was your kind of inspiration. And, it does sound like people spoke to you and kind of like egged you on, and, but deep down yourself, that motivation came from yourself, right? And your circumstance. So basically, where to from now, man? You obviously lost a significant amount of weight. What's the objective for the next kind of goal?
Well, I think my main goal is just to go through winter and just keep my focus. So we're going into winter now, like deep winter. So that's my main goal. Keep focused, keep lean, keep healthy, keep mentally fit as well. And I don't know yet. I don't know why I've got so fit. I'm thinking about starting this YouTube channel now, as I've spoken to you about previously, to help others maybe come from where I was. Yeah. And, motivate a few people, even if they've never trained in their lives, just motivate them to get going. But right now I've done this for myself, it's for my mental health and, obviously my physical health as well. But there's talk about me getting back into the modeling side of things and moving to London and seeing what that's all going to happen there. Okay. But if I get a bicycle, maybe we're going to triathlon. It's like, I don't think I've ever been this light before in my life, even when I raced Ironman. Yeah, and it's presented itself with some new opportunities for you, right? And as we kind of discussed a little bit, I know you didn't want me to speak about your modeling career. But still, like we now 33, 34 years old, and you potentially still can do some old man modeling. With gray. Absolutely, you got to get a bit gray, man. So just to set the tone, right? But that'll be a nice opportunity for you to come out of this COVID period with something something new and get your spirits again. Well, so let's take us back to your modeling days. I mean, those were again probably quite interesting times for yourself. And maybe you can enlighten us with kind of the pressure that was put on you, et cetera, et cetera. I remember you coming to me quite often, kind of, it just didn't, it always seemed like you were fighting for something.
whether it's, and never really content, because I think, and I might speak on a correction, kind of when you having jumped into that industry, they are quite intense, and the standards are very high. Enlighten us about that a bit, man.
Yeah, so I mean, geez, just bringing this up now, I'm having like second thoughts about ever getting back into this industry ever again. But like, yeah, dude, your agency really puts a lot of pressure on you to lose weight. And I've always been, as you know, I mean, I was born without a thyroid gland, so losing weight for me is not an easy task. My metabolism is like non-existent. So it's always been and sometimes my body just wants to gain weight, sometimes it wants to lose weight. So, you know, you don't really have much control over it. But going into that industry, geez, man, it can get dark. You know, it's they expect you to be up early shooting, but going to bed late at parties, showing face, you know, being around the who's who in that industry at all times. It's probably changed. I mean, it's been like almost 10 years since I've been in that industry. But it's a tough industry to be in, and it's very cutthroat. And if you're not looking your best, you're not going to be getting jobs. I mean, I remember being in Milan, and it was between me and this other guy to get a Pirelli campaign, and it was the way that and it was a lot of money at that time, and the way that the jacket fitted that dude was better than the way it fitted me, because I had a bigger chest than him, and he got the job. So it's just it's like little decisions like that, just based on your looks. And geez, dude, that industry is crazy, man.
Yeah, and it's and I think for yourself, like, not that modeling is for younger people, but what kind of effect it will have on your life now? Like you know, we're kind of coming into mid-30s. You obviously, you know, you've had the ups and downs, like most people. Kind of, you think that would be a good kind of direction to go for your career, to go back into modeling, or just
I'd never take it full time. I just think right now with you know, where I'm super proud of where I am and what I've achieved at the moment. So I think if I do anything that's got to do with that industry again, I would probably go into only fitness modeling.
Okay.
I've always said I've always wanted the men's health cover, so I think that's one goal that I'll put onto my, you know, my list. Absolutely. So I think that's a definite you know, goal of mine, to get the men's health cover.
So tell us a little bit over your and I think it's your fitness kind of modeling would be definitely an avenue to go through, and I think it just potentially is a bit more kind of lifestyle, a bit more suited to, you know, what you enjoy doing. You've made this drastic change in the last 3 months. Tell us a little about your training and nutrition. I think people would love to hear about that.
Cool. So basically, I can't remember who the guest was on Joe Rogan, but he talked about a flow of training, very short training sessions, but you keep it in the flow. So if you picture two lines like that, this is overexertion, this is underexertion. So if you keep your training in between those two lines, you've kind of got a happy medium. If you've got the guy that's doing overexertion and training 3 times a week, but pumping out heavy weights or too many reps, and he's sore for the next 2 days, he's not going to be able to train for, you know, as much or consistently as the guy that stays in the flow in between those two lines. So and this is just what I started learning and appreciating and brought into my training, is that I was never sore. I've never been sore. I've never been overexerted myself. So I kind of fell in love with training again, because it was short sessions. It was medium intensity, but I could go for so long. And I think that was my endurance training coming back as well. And then I really had a look at my diet, and lockdown has been fantastic for me, obviously, because in South Africa, I don't know about you, but our bottle stores have been closed for 3 months.
I heard so. Yeah, I heard so. No alcohol.
Yeah, no alcohol. So that's helped a lot, and that's going to be a tricky thing for me now on the first when they open again. So that's going to take some mental strength. But I've literally, I enjoy my glass of wine and a whiskey here and there and a bit of beer. But yeah,
absolutely, man.
I'm definitely not going to fall back into the same, the same routine that I had.
Yeah, you've worked so hard, man. Absolutely.
Exactly. And with
so
regards to
just to come back to that flow state, so I want you to get the idea. So that is like rate of perceived exertion, or like heart rate, or is that just like, do you mean like every day you just kind of going at like 75-80%? Is that what you mean?
Correct.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're kind of keeping yourself in the fat burning state or range of your heart rate. So after this, I'll send you the link to that. It's a really
great.
Awesome
podcast.
Okay. So he talks about that flow, and it kind of makes sense because the guy that's doing 10 pull-ups, okay, let's bring pull-ups into the equation here. The guy that's doing 10 pull-ups 3 times a week, because that's his max, okay? 10 is his max. But you are a guy that comes in and you do 5, okay, or 7. But you can train, because you're only doing 7 and it's not your max, you are doing 30. Don't know my max.
So 35.
Where the other guy's only doing 30. If you keep in your flow, you're going to be at the end of the year, you're going to out-rep that dude. And just by keeping it in the flow and keeping a consistent heart rate through your training and not overexerting yourself. And that's exactly how I've been training. I've been keeping
are you training every day or?
Yeah, but I've been alternating endurance, running and hitting the tennis court with a bit of functionality and CrossFit training.
Yeah. And how many days of the week are you training 7 days a week? And what's the normal duration for these sessions?
That's an interesting point. It's actually a really good question, because in South Africa now, you're only allowed to train. Okay, so we've been in stage 5, we're in stage 4 now. And in stage 4, they unlocked, public exercise, but it's only from 6 till 9, which has been really difficult for the guys at work.
Yes.
That are still working, that have essential jobs. So they've only got from 6 until maybe 7 to train, and then obviously get ready for work. And then, so that's been difficult. But yeah, so I've been trying to just train for an hour every day, and maybe every now and again I'd rest on a Sunday.
Okay. So it's an hour. So it's basically like 6 hours a week of training. And I mean that kind of really makes sense. And I think it's also to do with a lot with kind of exceeding and getting the cortisol levels all jacked up by if you over kind of exerting yourself. Keeping and I think massively important is keeping your heart rate in that fat burning, or becoming kind of more fat adaptive, as you like to say, kind of industry. Tell us a little about your nutrition through the last 3 months, and how has that changed since before that?
Okay, so
besides the wine.
So I've moved everything to a steamer. Every single thing I cook goes through a steamer. I don't use oil. I don't use roast anything in the oven. Every single thing goes through a steamer. So I've really cut out, all sorts of oils, all sorts of sauces, salts, any sort of, condiments or whatever that you can, use in your food.
Do you take any, because of that, just coming back to the steaming effect of things, a lot of the times you potentially can get rid of a lot of the micronutrients in what you're doing, especially kind of like, if you're training quite hard. I know I sweat like an animal. So I got to supplement with salt. I know you sweat a lot as well. I used to
Yeah.
train you. Yeah. So how do you do you take any multivitamins or any kind of supplementation with regards to vitamins and stuff at all?
Yeah, so half an hour before I use Nutritech Nuke.
Okay.
And then I use their BCAAs as well during training.
Okay, just a
I'm
small
not sure
plug.
if that. Sorry?
Just a small plug for Nutritech.
Sorry, I didn't know if I was allowed to do that.
No, I'm just teasing.
No,
Absolutely. No, it's cool. 100%, that's fine. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but that's basically it. I haven't really, I drink a lot of water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I feel like a fizzy juice or whatever, then I don't feel bad.
Yeah. All about that moderation.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to have a good balance. I don't want to feel bad if I do cheat, or if I do, feel like something or crave something. I don't feel bad about doing that. That's not where I want to be. Because I previously, when I've trained and I am like that, I'm so concentrating on, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't do that. It doesn't last. It's not feasible. It doesn't last,
Absolutely, man.
Sooner or later you crack.
Yeah. All about that sustainability, right?
Yeah, it's good, man. You've just got to, what I've found is that I've found the perfect equilibrium for my body right now. And it's listening to everything I'm doing. It's using all the fuel. I'm giving it the exact right amount of fuel. So if there's anything that I can say to someone that actually wants to, achieve something like this, is that listen to your body, dude.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Absolutely.
you know a lot more about nutrition and fitness than I do. But yeah, I've just found that I've now found like an equilibrium with my body.
Yeah, just a good space. And I think the biggest contributor to kind of, changing your body is the rest and recovery. How much sleep are you getting in? What kind of quality of sleep? And is your sleep a lot better than it was before, kind of 3 months ago? Let's say that.
Yeah, 100%. 3 months ago, I wasn't sleeping at all. I was like up until like 2 o'clock, waking up at 6. It was terrible. And then obviously, the more I started getting into my exercise and building a bit of a routine up, it started getting a lot better. Obviously, because your body's a lot more tired when towards the end of the day.
Yeah.
I found that when my mental, started working on my mental health a lot, and my physical training, my sleep came with it. So now I'm getting maybe like 9 hours of sleep, 8 hours of sleep every night,
Yeah, that's brilliant, eh? And stress levels are a lot lower at the moment as well.
Super chilled.
Yeah, those are massive contributing factors. I think people overlook that, right? And it's, end of the day, you're dealing with your sympathetic and parasympathetic system. So to get that parasympathetic system and your rest and digest in a dominant kind of state, I think that's going to massively help you with your body working correctly. No, that's been great, man. That's been massively beneficial, and it's good to hear. And I think one thing is, like, everyone's different, right? With regards to, for you, I think your key kind of takeaway for that was you listen to your body a lot, right? I think a lot of people that have coaches and have this, that, the other, they often they're always listening to someone else, right? And they never kind of find their own balance per se, and they're never really happy because it's always someone else's idea, and they haven't done enough kind of experimentation on themselves to find out what works exactly for them. It's just this big kind of conundrum, because in health and fitness, every single person is different. There's no real blueprinted stamp that we can give you, a template, should we say. But that's been awesome, man, and so good to catch up with you and hear your story. Or have you got any kind of like ideas of, or any kind of the next goalpost you want to hit? Please don't lose any more weight.
No, I actually want to build weight now. I want to get to 85 kgs, but just build some muscle and focus on points and areas like my back, my chest, legs,
Yeah.
gain
What are you
muscle
going to
and-
do to get to that? Are you going to just increase your calories, or what's the plan?
Well, I'm hoping that gym's open soon because I've been using a 12 kg kettlebell, and that's it's getting a bit light at the moment. So, yeah, dude. So yeah, hoping for gyms to open pretty soon so I can really pinpoint and focus on areas of my body. Yeah,
absolutely. Do you count your calories at all, or do you just
No.
kind of eat when you're hungry?
No, I'll wing it. Well, I'm doing intermittent fasting, actually. I should have mentioned that. But
Okay.
I'm doing a 16-8 ratio. So
Okay.
I fast for 16 hours, then I eat within an 8-hour window. And that's usually 2 big meals. So it's really like carbohydrate-based and protein-based diet. So I eat like a half chicken breast and a lot of butternut, and for lunch it's probably, or like brunch, it's probably like an oats or scrambled egg on toast. Yeah,
Is that it?
Very chill. That's it.
You need to eat more food. Oh,
really?
If you want to get to 85 kilos, you're gonna have to eat a lot more food. And to make sure that it's a lot of lean muscle that you want to put on. But yeah, I mean, that could be something, for your next kind of step you could look into, really dialing in your macros and fueling your body, more than you need to, especially once the gyms are open, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But wicked, man, that's a great chat and awesome catching up with you.
You too.
Absolutely, man. Been a good time. And thanks very much, mate, for our talk today.
Thank you so much for having me, Dil.